with a certain gentleman looking for materials to make lanterns. He's using colored paper, or looking at colored paper and semi-transparent plastics material. And the dreamer said, "You need to make sure that these things are fireproof," and was told, "Doesn't matter, it's not important." The shop assistants also emphasized that the materials were not appropriate because they were flammable. They could easily catch fire. Still wasn't listening. So the dreamer went out with Mr. Trump to somewhere, don't know where, but a pigeon, perhaps mechanical, started to talk to Mr. Trump and persuaded him to follow a sandbank to the other side of a place where there was a very steep decline, which leading to a barren and desolate lake. Now, apparently, going down to the lake was easy, but because of the steep banks, it was very, very difficult or even impossible to climb back up again. Now, the Mr. Trump decides that he's going to go down to the lake for a swim, but got stuck at the bottom, couldn't get back up again, and the dream ends with the dreamer looking down on Mr. Trump, who is stuck at the bottom of this decline or ravine, perhaps. Very interesting dream. Yes, you can well imagine. But there's, as I've been saying, that we dream both at the micro and macro levels, that we dream for our individual lives and receive information regarding our individual lives. But often our dreams, particularly at particular moments in time, can reflect the wider happenings in the world. So let's start to take a look at what elements turn up in this particular dream. The first was a thing that I noted, that it was a lantern that was being made or intended to be made. And the first thought that came to me with this is that the saying, "It is better to light a single candle than to sit and curse the dark." Wonder about that one in this particular case. But the paper lantern has some definite associations with it, with Asia, but especially its Chinese, paper lanterns, which are non-fire resistant, as it happens. Fires have been set for different celebrations in different countries in Asia because of these paper lanterns. And the expression that came to me with that was setting the world on fire, and in given current circumstances, it's literally setting things on fire. Now, the assistants in the shop assistants or aides, are always giving warning that the items that were being selected were not fire resistant, that they were actually dangerous. But the honorable gentleman wasn't listening, was not considered to be of importance. Now, why would something that's potentially flammable and life-threatening not be of importance? You have to wonder there. Now, there's also what's interesting when, despite the dreamer giving warnings, despite the shop assistants giving warning, still not listening. But what he does listen to is a talking pigeon. Now, which could be mechanical, like a robot, the dreamer says. Now, isn't it interesting that a possibly mechanical, robotic, mechanistic thing, or ostensibly a pigeon, can actually persuade somebody who doesn't listen to anyone to go down into a ravine. Very interesting that. Now, you could think of, I think of stool pigeons. I think of, robots in terms of artificial intelligence. Um, just there's the kind of mechanistic, robotic, limited thinking, not able to um, show any spontaneity or independent thought. So anyway, our honorable friend goes down this steep bank to swim in a desolate lake. It's described as desolate. Now, there's a couple of things going on here. Lakes or any body of water often can represent in our dreams the unconscious mind, on our emotions, what's going on underneath. Now, a lake that is desolate, it's ruined, it's lifeless, it's lonely. There is no life there, and then it implies a kind of deadness of place. There's no. If you're looking at this as the lake as being emotions, it's a dead place. There's no emotion there. You could say it's heartless. Now, there's another interesting thing about, going up and going down. And, we associate, whether in a religious sense or not, going up as being better, ascending a mountain, you make it to the top, and descending as going to a lower state in some way. One of the expressions that came to mind when I read this was thinking about descending and ascending. It's like, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, or, you can't make sure that you don't get on a slippery slope downward. And it's interesting, in this dream, it was very easy to go down to this dead lake, but virtually impossible to come back up again. Now, there's this kind of juxtaposition, I think, if you look at it in a wider context, that many people are expressing dissatisfaction with their political leaders at the moment. And in a sense, looking kind of declaring a plague on everybody's houses. They're looking down on all of them because they're not serving the people. So, there's also the implication that it's, going down the wrong path, not going in the place that they should go. So here we have a world leader not listening. He goes his own way, ignoring the advice or evidence that's people are showing to him. But yet he continues to lean on his own understanding. Now, at the end of this dream, he is left at the bottom in this dead lake where he cannot climb back up again, with the dreamers standing up top on the bank looking down. And I just wonder for the dreamer if there's an implication that of his attitude towards politicians, because in another dream, he's getting better as at the moment with the virus. But in that particular dream, that prior dream with Boris Johnson, it was Boris Johnson who got the better of the dreamer and ended up firing him. In this dream, he hasn't, well, what's happened here is that the roles have been reversed. It's not him who gets thrown into the hole, so to speak. It's the politician. So there's something about the dreamer feeling getting his own back with regard to this politician and politicians in general. But I'd like to go back to the wider implications of this dream, that This particular politician is known for not listening to anyone but his own counsel. But in the wider context, from the amount of protest that is going on around the world by different people about their governments, there is a widespread dissatisfaction of the business as usual and the way politicians are supposedly looking out for their people. They're leaning on their own understanding and following their own agendas, perhaps. They're not always following the advice of experts. And, well, we're seeing the result of some of that now. There also seems to be an inflated sense of one's abilities or one's um, uh, ability to overcome obstacles, whether that actually reflects reality or not. And there's, I think, this this dream kind of points to that I'm hell bent on my agenda, and people just have to follow along or not. There's something interesting about this pigeon robot. Not sure what it is, and it makes me think in the wider political sense of how data analysis has become the new way to pervert our way of thinking, or vote, or do certain things. And there's a company that has been in the news recently, whose name I won't mention, but has been manipulating data or gathering data in such a way that tailored political ads and all kinds of messages are being sent anonymously to targeted groups. And this is happening in many countries. So there's a wider implication of we're being manipulated, that we're on a divergent path from our politicians, I think. So there's a whole lot in this dream, packed into a little bit paragraph that I read to you. But um, I think not only a political figure to the spirit of the age at the moment, the zeitgeist, because we're all looking to our leaders to lead, and are they? We shall see. We shall see. We are seeing. So there you have it. That's how what happens when politicians go politicking in your dreams. And while they may very well represent themselves as they are, they also represent something within us. Do we adhere to their political views? Do we think that they're right, they're wrong, and different? How do we define ourselves in front of that? Do we go along with it, or do we say, no, I'm stepping out of the collective and holding my own ground and forming my own opinions? Because if you rely on the news from other people, you're going to slip, because there's so much fake news out there. So you have to learn to trust yourself and to rely on yourself. And I think there's something of that in this dream. Thanks so much for watching and listening. I hope that gives you some ideas about what may be going on in your own dreams. And if you'd like help with your dreams and find out what about them is bothering you, or what message it is that you need to know, book a complimentary session and find out. The details are below, and I'm always happy to answer questions. You can leave a comment, or you can send me a personal message. Thanks so much for watching and listening. I hope you were out enjoying the beautiful day. Enjoy the weather. You've been given this gift of enjoy it. Have a wonderful evening and a great weekend. And happy Easter if you celebrate Easter, and happy Pesach if you celebrate Passover. Take care.